Hey guys, Leslie here, and today we're back from a YouTube video. Today, as the title suggests, we're going to be covering Iron Man from Marvel Comics versus Samus from Metroid. I'm going to be completely honest, this was probably the hardest thing to research. Not specifically because of the scaling, but just in general, how to research it, essentially. Because I wanted to make it a close fight, but at the same time, it was just a bit complicated because both of these characters have so many different suits and different bits of armor. There's so many different levels of power that if you were to say use both of them at their max armor levels, Iron Man would absolutely stomp. But if you use certain Iron Man models, Samus would stomp and things like that. And you could technically have a closer fight here than the ones I've picked out, but I decided to go with just give Samus all of her stuff and give Iron Man his Model 29, which is, I think, the one he's most kind of well known for, but use higher end feats. That way, it's, not as clear that I'm going out of my way to be like, yeah, this is Iron Man Model 272, the one he wore out to a fancy dress party. I think it fits the best, if that makes any sort of sense. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you don't buy what I say about Iron Man's power here, that's fine, but, it is what it is. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. When it comes to strength attack potency, Model 29 Iron Man was capable of matching Doctor Doom in base. Granted, this is in Doctor Doom before he gets batshit powerful, but it is still quite an impressive feat. Doctor Doom was capable of fighting Hulk, who could damage Thor, who could tank an attack that could freeze over the 9 realms and Asgard, and the 9 realms are stated to be universes in size, which would mean that Thor is universal durability at least, and Doctor Doom and therefore Iron Man is able to match that. Meanwhile, for Samus Aran, with the power granted to her by Animus, she was capable of nullifying black holes which were going to consume the universe. So while Iron Man is more powerful than Samus, as we established, it is quite relatively close, as the blast that Thor took was going to take all of the 9 realms, and that's 9 universes compared to Samus's 1 here. So the strength attack potency point here would go to Iron Man. When it comes to speed, and Iron Man was capable of flying to the sun in a short span of time, to do this he would have had to be moving at over 33 times the speed of light. Now, there is a way you can scale Iron Man higher in terms of speed. You could theoretically say that he's able to, keep up with and, able to outrun Mjolnir, which was capable of travelling back in time. But that's a little bit of a stretch. I will get into what happens if you give Thor infinite speed at the end of the video, but realistically, he is around 33 times faster than light ranges. Meanwhile, for Samus Aran, she was capable of reacting to and destroyed a spaceship mid-flight, and while in the ship using a speed booster. And that ship, in order to do so, you'd have to be moving it over 100 billion times the speed of light, given, how fast the ships are in Metroid. So I think it's clear that Samus is faster than Iron Man. Again, if you use infinite speed for Iron Man, then that'll be different, but, we'll get to that. As for durability, and as we said, Iron Man was capable of taking attacks from Doctor Doom, which means that his attack potency should scale to his durability. Meanwhile, for Samus, there's not really much evidence to suggest that her strength correlates to her durability at all. If you go by just her durability feat, she could take hits from Dark Samus, who could take, the destruction of Dark Ether, which the explosion was equal to over 60 teratons of TNT, or enough to destroy a small star. Even if you do scale Samus's attack potency to her durability, it still wouldn't come close to Iron Man's, so Iron Man's more durable than Samus here. When it comes to abilities, weaponry, and techniques, Iron Man in this Model 29 has the ability to fly, has information analysis, has energy projection and absorption with nanotechnology. He has technology manipulation, hacking, and electricity manipulation. He has magnetism manipulation, sound manipulation, explosion manipulation, light manipulation, gravity manipulation, temperature manipulation, density manipulation, power nullification, and quantum manipulation via 0-point energy, durability negation via repulsor rays, precognition, regeneration as the armor can rebuild itself from deconstruction, can create illusions, has force field creation, has weapons creation, he can transform, he has invisibility, he has homing attack, statistics amplification, status effect inducement, non-physical interaction via Kitty Pryde when she was intangible, he was able to hit her. He also has resistance to petrification, heat, cold, radiation, magnetism manipulation, and telepathy. Meanwhile, when it comes to abilities, weaponry techniques for Samus, she has enhanced senses and is skilled in hand-to-hand combat. She's a master markswoman, is like a great pilot. She has paralysis inducement. She has precognition, energy projection, and absorption. She can heal herself. She has data manipulation, as like the power suit stores weapons and ammunition as data before being able to use them. She has ice manipulation. She has homing attacks. She can bypass force fields with the wave beam. She has non-physical interaction with the intangible, like spatial, immaterial, and elemental. She has statistics amplification, as she can greatly boost her speed with Speed Booster. She has regeneration. She has information analysis via the scan visor. She has pseudo flight, as she can space jump indefinitely. She has fire manipulation, matter manipulation, as she could fire high density beams of neutrons with shock coil. She has plasma manipulation, radiation manipulation, rage power, which can enhance her strength up to 5 times. She has soul manipulation via the Phazon suit. She has time manipulation via phase drift, which could slow down time. She has possible reactive evolution, as instead of dying or being corrupted, Samus' suit evolved when exposed to Phazon. She has absorption, as she can absorb Phazon to increase her power. She has energy manipulation, white hole manipulation, and she has resistance to gravity manipulation, mind manipulation, extreme heat, as she's been unaffected by magma and lava. She has resistance to acid manipulation, antimatter itself. She has resistance to cold. She has resistance to gravity via her gravity suit. She has resistance to matter manipulation, as she's had her atoms being torn apart and destroyed. She has resistance to Phazon and Sub-Zero. She has resistance to disease manipulation, life manipulation, poison manipulation, soul manipulation, and technology manipulation, and along with possession. So for who's more versatile, I think it's clear that Samus is, but for us the better abilities, that's more up in the air. Samus has quite the range of abilities, or resistances that are pretty overpowered. I'm kind of leaning more towards Iron Man, being able to bypass, or Bifrost force fields and regenerate and things like that are pretty useful. But Iron Man has the ability to, nullify powers, regenerate himself, turn invisible, and create illusions, which I just think is much better. So the abilities point goes to Iron Man, the versatility goes to Samus. As for weakness, if Samus cannot properly maintain hyper mode, she will suffer terminal corruption and become another Dark Samus. And as for Iron Man's weaknesses, due to him being connected to Tony Stark through the Extremis virus, it leads Tony to being open to having his body hacked. So for us, the worst weakness, I think it's Iron Man, because even if Samus becomes another Dark Samus, she'll still be able to fight just evil. So yeah, Iron Man is more vulnerable than Samus is. Now, who wins the fight? We've gathered from this the Iron Man is more powerful, more durable, and has better abilities. Meanwhile, Samus is faster, has better versatility, and is less vulnerable. So, who wins the fight? Looking at the stats here, it does seem quite close, and it is, but both that's actually a fairly close fight, right? Iron Man can very easily one-shot Samus based on the stuff I've given here. And if you give Iron Man infinite speed, then he wins GG, right? But with the stats that they actually have, it's actually really close, because Samus is much faster than Iron Man and has many different abilities which counter Iron Man directly. For example, Iron Man's gravity manipulation just wouldn't work on Samus. His force field creation would be completely useless because Samus could bypass that. And despite the fact that Iron Man is more powerful, Samus can close the gap with her rage power. So it is very close. It really comes down to, do you think Iron Man would be able to get the hit on Samus before Samus's versatility and abilities and power whittle Iron Man down? Given Iron Man's regeneration, it's probably not likely. Although, given her ability to slow down time and her precognition, it's going to be really hard for Iron Man to deal any sort of damage to her. Given Samus's versatility, Iron Man hasn't really shown certain resistances to the many things that Samus has. Like, for example, as we said, time manipulation, and just many of the things like, say, I mean, he has resistance to ice and heat, or rather cold and heat, but ice manipulation itself, like, Iron Man hasn't really shown resistance to, at least in this model of armor. Iron Man's ability to create illusions and nullify powers would be really what is the big hitters here, and his invisibility obviously too. If he turns invisible, like, immediately, then he could very well just defeat Samus. You could say, couldn't Iron Man hack into Samus' suit and deactivate it, but Samus has shown resistance to it, and could probably even hack into Tony's suit, which is her main win condition. If she's able to hack into Iron Man's suit, basically that's GG, because she can also hack then into Tony. But it is, like, what do you think is more likely to happen? Samus decides to hack into Iron Man's suits before, you know, using all of her other abilities, or Iron Man turning invisible, nullifying Samus's powers, and, you know, killing her just in one hit. I think Iron Man is more likely. Samus, like, if you allow Iron Man, or rather Samus, enough time to hack into Tony before Tony can do anything, which is plausible seeing that Samus is much faster, then yeah, Samus wins, obviously, but I don't know, I just think that Iron Man, again, he has like the perfect set of abilities necessary to take down Samus, so I would argue that Iron Man is more than likely able to kill Samus, although it is like debatable Samus can win, except, you know, Iron Man's win like, both of them have like basically one win condition, but Iron Man has many different ways of achieving said win condition, for example, and that's really what it boils down to. Of course, if you use certain models of Iron Man, or use like certain suits for Samus, and the outcome will be different, but, you know, that's model 29 Iron Man versus all of Samus's stuff. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.